Hello everyone and welcome back to the CO2 Rundown. I'm your host Chad Owens. I hope you all had a great weekend. Hope you got that relax, reset, and recovery in, because we are in for another productive week. Man, lots to talk about in the world of sports. So, but before we get into it, I gotta say mahalo to Long's Drugs for all your support. Make sure you guys are heading in there for your everyday needs. Let's dive on in to the CO2 Rundown. The Final Four is set, and it's going to be a historic one because we got Duke taking on North Carolina for the first time in tournament history. That's hard to believe because those two programs have been to the Final Four many of times, but this is Coach K's final run. And so I've been pulling for him, I've been pulling for Duke to send him off into the sunset, a champion. On the other side, we got Villanova and Kansas, another historic game. These are the top four teams, the last four standing. And, it's unfortunate. I was pulling for St. Peter's, that Cinderella story, but, UNC took care of them and ended their Cinderella run of a season. Every year, there's that team that comes along, right, that wants to try to penetrate that and become that Cinderella story. But the Cinderella story now is Coach K and his historic, legendary, iconic career as a coach. And so I just hope to see him, like I said, go off into the sunset, a champion. He will forever be a legend in the coaching ranks, but to go out a champion is something special. And I know that's something extra that Duke is playing for. We'll see how it all shakes out. Stay tuned. Huge congratulations to Mililani's Angela Lee for her historic moment at the One Championship 10-year anniversary event this past weekend. Look, Angela, she said it was a dream come true. She's still undefeated in One Championship. She defended her title against a very tough opponent. But what she had said is really, it hit home for me because I'm a father, I have a wife, I've got 3 kids. This is her, she's has a 10-month-old baby girl. And early in the fight, Angela got hit with a body shot that hurt her, that put her back, put her in a back pedal. And, the ref was close to stopping the fight then. But the thought came, she said, my contractions while I was in labor hurt a lot more than that punch. So her baby girl gave her that much more courage and motivation and inspiration to push through, to persevere that little bit of adversity that she felt in her stomach early on, and eventually tapped her out later on in the fight. So look, she said this is huge, her biggest win in her career. She is the first mom champion in One Championship. So congratulations, Angela. Keep doing your thing, keep representing at the highest level. And yeah, our kids do provide us with, more inspiration and more motivation that we would ever need. And so congrats on that. The journey is just beginning. So continue to strive for greatness, continue to work hard each and every day. We're all extremely proud of you. Let's go. Dave Ridden's got an interesting article in today's Honolulu Star-Advertiser highlighting our Rainbow Warrior football players and their jersey number selections. He's talking about legacy. He's talking about the people who wore these numbers in the past. And what he's mainly focused on here is the dads that were former players and their sons and or nephews are playing now and wearing their numbers. I can't help but talk about my son, as Dave mentioned him. He interviewed him after practice. Right now my son's wearing number 19, but I know he's waiting for that number 2 jersey to be, finalized. But I had a conversation with my son about this. And hence why even throughout his high school career, my son wore number 8. I pushed number 8 on him because of Marcus Mariota and what he was able to do and the type of quarterback he is, number 1, but more so the type of person he is off the field. And I told him, that's the guy you want to be like. That's who you want to emulate. I didn't want him to have the pressure of, wearing my number and having to fill, my shoes. And that's my message to you guys, is you guys don't have to fill anyone's shoes, right? Make it your own. It is your time, right? It is your time to shine. And so, look, just enjoy the moment, guys. Rock those numbers. It's the number, but it's the name on the front as well as the name on the back. It all works together, and that's what I love about sports. It provides opportunities of inspiration for the young up and coming athletes to emulate and to be like these guys and rock that number, right? So make it your own, and we're all looking forward to this upcoming season. From what I've seen so far, it's very, very exciting stuff. So let's go, Bows. All right, special guest joining me today. You know who it is, my guy, Stephen Tsai, the sports guru. We're going to talk some UH baseball as well as football. And, I just love having my guy on because he's got so much insight, so much passion for our local sports. Check it out. All right, man, always a pleasure to have my guy, Stephen Tsai, on with us, joining me on the show today. Steve, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you doing?
I'm great, man. I'm great. I'm in here chilling. You look like you're on the move. You in the car. Appreciate you taking the time. I know you're a busy guy. Lot to cover.
I actually get better reception when I'm in the car than in the house.
Well, I appreciate it. And you got the natural light. You got the natural light.
I live in Honolulu, and Montana's mountains, so I live right next to a mountain. So a mountain's kind of blocking the way, but hey, you gotta respect the colau.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about our UH baseball team for a minute here. Yeah. We just took a L, right, to UC Irvine.
Yeah.
But you know what? I like the aggressive play that we have. I like our mentality when we get on base, right? Coach Rich Hill he's not holding back. From what I understand, guys get on base, you have the green light to go steal.
Right. They do things, they bunt, they steal, they do all kinds of stuff. But that's kind of one of these things about this team, is that they just try to be aggressive. They try to they don't have a lot of power. This is kind of a team that was sort of in transition with the coaching change, and he's just trying to do whatever he can. Now he's getting innovative. He's calling offensive timeouts, which is kind of unheard of in baseball, but he's just doing anything to disrupt the other team. They're taking the time sometimes at the bats, things like that. But just got to do what you got to do with what you have, and you got to go down fighting. And if you don't have all the tools, you just got you got to build what you can with whatever tools you have.
Yeah, but I like what he's doing, because what it does, it provides, in my opinion, more excitement to the fans, for the people that are paying to come in and watch. Hey, it's an exciting atmosphere. Guys are gonna, when they get on base, they're gonna get steals. They're gonna be aggressive. And to me, that's, you're not trying to win if you're just sitting back and like hoping that fundamentally things just happen. I like the thought process that Coach Hill is taking on this, and I think fans can appreciate that.
And you know what, too, is the fans are really intelligent. They appreciate good strategy and good baseball. I mean, they'll get ovations for like a successful bunt, and you don't see that anywhere else. I mean, that'd be kind of like someone to get him nice, not a knockdown block, but just a really good block in football. And you kind of wish that transcends to all sports, but that's kind of what it does in this sport. It's guys willing to just make the sacrifice to move a guy up. That really goes a lot well, and the fans really appreciate that effort.
Yeah, no, for sure. And yeah, you mentioned rebuilding. It is a rebuilding year for the team, right? And for the program. Mm-hmm. And I think with a guy like with Coach Hill there, I can see success following. I can see, more recruits coming. He's going to be able to build the type of team that he feels he needs to be successful. And I think fans, as long as fans can continue to remain patient, stay on board, right? Stay supportive, and just give him time to groom the players we do have. And then in the future, right, the guys he brings on, it just elevates, the foundation that he's building.
Yeah, and you're right. And it is. And, but, it's also right now, what's kind of interesting too, is the Big West is kind of a big physical league. I mean, it's a very, really good baseball league. And it's kind of reminds me sometimes of, with the UH football, sometimes you didn't have the big size, the big linemen and everything. So what do? You do the run and shoot. You go the opposite way, Hey, if you don't have the big guys in basketball, what do? You bring on the Steph Currys, and you just become the 3-pointer.
Lights out shooters, yes.
That's what you kind of do. You got to play small ball if everyone else is playing big ball, right?
Yep, I agree. Well, we wish nothing but continued success, to Coach Hill and the Rainbow Warrior baseball team. Let's transition over. You've already started talking about it. Day 3 happened on Saturday of University of Hawaii, Rainbow Warrior football team. They're in spring practice. It was the first, public allowed practice. Fans came out in the heat. It was hot. We talked about it pre-show here, Stephen. It was hot. But what are you taking away from what you're seeing? 3 hours. 3 hours. But all that aside,
they have a strategy on this because they're saying you're allowed 20 hours a week with the team. They go, well, you can watch a lot of film, you can have a lot of meetings, or you could be out on the field and have your meetings and learning. And they want to put more of their effort and time on the field. And so it's a little bit more of a balance. But you have to choose what you're going to do. And right now, I think they believe that the best classroom is Ching Field.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I'm on like 3 hours. I'm like, wow, that was me training camp at the professional level. It was like we did back-to-back practices. We didn't do the old school practice in the morning, break, practice at night. We started combining it. A lot of teams are doing that now. But, man, 3 hours on a football field is a long time, especially in that Hawaii heat.
But you know what they did, which was good too? They brought in a nurse, which they do for games, to administer IVs in case people were feeling a little drained. I mean, there's water stations always all the time. It's the era now where you got to keep hydrating and make sure you're hydrating. But if for some reason your body's not responding, they've got IVs out there. They've got all kinds of things just to keep people healthy, and that's the most important thing. But, yeah, you got to have safety and you got to learn in spring, and I think there's a really good things that they're really trying to do, make sure that they're learning safely.
Yeah, and let's transition over to the actual the team itself. 3 practices, Stephen. What are your thoughts so far?
Well, right now it all starts with the court. They lost so much, and they lost Shevin, and it just seems like they just were not totally prepared for that transition to a new quarterback. We all come from the June Jones, in the background, the Nick Rolovich, where you have 8 or 9 quarterbacks in camp, and they just weren't a lot of guys getting a lot of reps in that last offense in practices. And you kind of remember June's practices where all he did was just throw and throw and throw and run patterns. And sometimes I always equate it to like bowling. When you're a large group of people and you only have like one lane and you got to wait like 10 people until you bowl. That's kind of how practices were kind of like the past few years where the receivers have to wait so long. This time, no, it's like they've got 7 lanes. Everyone's throwing the ball. Everyone's passing, catching the ball. And they're getting reps, and that's what you have to do with whatever offense they decide to run. You got to have reps, especially in the passing game, because that's a really complicated thing. And they're getting a lot. The receivers are just getting a lot of reps, and they've got 7 quarterbacks in camp, and they're getting a lot of reps. And they're not just getting a lot of reps with passing. As your son has learned, they're getting a lot of work with the meshes, right? The handoffs. Handoffs are just as important, and you just got to keep going back to fundamentals. And the best thing about this is they have a lot of quarterbacks. They have an idea who the top tier might be, but the thing is, the competition is still open because they're trying to teach everybody the offense. And so you probably won't get a starter. Maybe you'll get a starter or top 2 guys on the top of the depth chart at the end of spring. But right now, they're making sure every quarterback knows the offense, and the first guy has to know as well as the 7th guy, and the 7th guy has to know the first guy. That's kind of how it is, and so that's why I kind of like it. That it's all about teaching in the spring.
Yeah, and you talked about the offense, talked about the quarterback position. What I'm noticing, like they don't huddle, right? It's all signals from the sideline, right. And it's impressive that those guys, the whole offense, in the short period of time, I know they worked together leading up to spring, but all the signals, understanding what those signals mean, all the plays, it's pretty impressive that they're able to pick up on it, pretty quick. And I know the install, they're adding a little bit more each and every practice. And to me, that's where you're going to really see who can emerge as a player, whether it's a quarterback, a receiver, who can absorb everything, right? Day 1, you can remember that. Day 2, Day 3, they added more. Now down the line, they're going to have to continue to evolve and add more to this offense, right? And who can pick it up? Who can remember? Who can retain? And who can retain but also play fast? Because if you're out there thinking a whole lot, Stephen, you're not going to play fast, right? And that's what they want to do. They want to have tempo. They want to control the tempo. I see what they're doing, right? They're stretching the defense, they're making them tired, and then boom, down the field.
So I like the style. I like what they've shown so far. I've been at every practice, and you know, it's exciting. It's an exciting time, and you know, I think they got the energy on the coach's side, and the players are responding to that.
And the other thing too is what they're doing on defense is also similar. But what they're doing on defense is they have what they call pods. So a pod is sort of like one sort of like a system that they're running, and within that they've got like, I don't know, 10 plays, whatever, and they run that pod and they learn that pod and they go over and over and over. And then when they get all that down with all those variations, they move on to the second one. They don't do anything with the first, go back to the second, over and over and over. And then they do all this, and then when training camp and then the season starts, boom, they'll mix it up. They go, okay, we're in this pod, you got to do this. Second, and that's how you learn. You got to learn with just over and over and over, and that's what they're doing. And so a lot of these players, some things might not make sense right now, but when it all comes together, it will make sense. So I call it the Mr. Miyagi kind of theory of coaching, you know, where you just, you know, why am I waxing this car? Well, you're going to wax this car to help you with your defense later. And that's kind of how they're coaching this team.
I love it. I love how you brought in the Cobra Kai references here. Stephen, you must be watching Cobra Kai. I love it. I ain't gonna lie, I'm watching it too. I love the new version of the Karate Kid.
I have a shirt. I have an Eagle Fang shirt, just, you know, all the John lovers.
He's got an Eagle Fang shirt. Okay. All right. I love it, Stephen. Well, look, you know, I can't wait for the next practice. It's tomorrow. And you know, it's just, I want to continue to see the evolution of this thing. And I'm sure everyone else does as well. Now, question for you, Stephen, is every Saturday practice going to be open to the public? What's the take there?
Every practice from now on is open to the public.
Oh, okay. Well, let's just do this right now. Let's encourage everyone. If you're off and you're available, hey, come out to practice, support the team, you know, because you can start to build up that excitement, you know, for the season.
You get to meet the player, and that's one of the things about this team. Players are so accommodating and available. Same thing with the coaches. I mean, get to know them, get to talk to them, because they don't want to just play for the community. They want to be part of the community, and part of that is get to know them. You know, we all know Timmy Chang. He's still Timmy. Well, for a while he's trying to be Tim for a while, but now he's back to being Timmy. You know, he's just go there. You can go there. You can learn so much. They'll help you. And you know, somebody was once telling me that all those kids were out there on Saturday. They're saying, like, you know, it's not like if you're in Michigan, you get to go out there and go hang out with Michigan players and watch them practice on Saturday. You know, this is one of the rare opportunities and one of the rare coaches and staff that just says, hey, you know, we are open. You know, we're playing for you guys. You're part of our team. Come on out and watch us. You know, there aren't a lot of seats at that stadium, so maybe this is your chance to really see them in person and interact, because, like you said,
it.
It's not 9,000 last year, maybe 10,000 this year. A lot of season ticket holders and stuff like that. So if you're a kid and you just want to learn and just, you know, maybe get advice or just, you know, see your heroes in action, you should come out.
Hey, couldn't have said it any better, Stephen. Well, look, thanks again for joining us today, brother. I'll see you out of practice tomorrow.
All right, take care. Have a good one.
All right, take care, Stephen.
All right.
And that is it for today's show. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. Look, it is Monday. You know what we got to do. We got to hit that gas. We got to start fast. But today's fast start, right, started last week, Friday, how you finished the week. Started yesterday, how you mentally prepared for this week. And so I wish you guys nothing but the best this week. Have an incredible one. And I want to say mahalo again to Long's Drugs for all your support of the show. I'll see y'all come Wednesday. Aloha.